Cheyeanne Alvarez on Power 1575 The Eagle, serving America's best. And in the studio with me is the commanding officer of Marine Corps Air Station Iwakuni, Colonel Lance Lewis. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Corporal Alvarez.
So, sir, before arriving here in Iwakuni, you came from the United Kingdom's Permanent Joint Headquarters as the lead planner for UK military activity in the Middle East. What is different from the way that you led there and how you will lead us here?
Sure. So I would say for any leader, whether you're an old, wrinkly colonel or young, motivated corporal, that you can't change who you are. And so you always treat people, no matter where you are, who they are, in the same respectful manner. I'd say the second thing that it taught me that I will bring here to this command is really how to listen. You know, when you work with in another country or with a different type of group, you really learn about different interests, different viewpoints, different perspectives, different experience. And so to just take the time to listen to what those things are before making a decision, and then how to work within that kind of group dynamic is what I learned.
Yes, sir. And then this is not your first time on the air station. You previously served as Headquarters and Headquarters Squadron's commanding officer from 2012 to 2014. And I just want to say, when we posted our change of command video, a lot of people commented that they actually served under you and they were really excited.
Oh, great. That's good.
During your 2 years as H&HS commanding officer, you focused on combat readiness. You took the unit on conditioning hikes and constructed a biowac involving patrols and did a lot of training to refresh your Marines' combat training. You said one day the Marine Corps could call on you to be a rifleman, and I would fail as a commanding officer if I didn't try to instill that in everyone. Will you continue to lead your Marines in the same way?
Absolutely. My mindset hasn't changed from being a squadron commander to now being the installation commander, especially out here in the Pacific. There is so much going on. The threats are so various. And in my personal experience, and if you look at the history of the Marine Corps, we all have different specialties and different jobs, and that's important. But for Marines, everyone fights. If you look at Guadalcanal, Korea, Desert Storm, the invasion of Iraq, every Marine fights. And so to try and instill that in people, I did that as a squadron commander, now just trying to instill that at a different level now, but empowering the commanding officer of H&HS to really take full reign of that. But my mindset has not changed about that one bit.
And then after officially taking charge of the air station, you stated that we have jets, brick, and mortar, and it's a lot of combat capability. As we all know, jets, brick, and mortar do not win wars. It's people who win wars. How will you ensure that your Marines and sailors are not only physically ready, but mentally ready for combat as well?
So that mental preparedness is probably just as, if not more important than getting yourself ready for combat. So not only is it PME, becoming an expert in your MOS skill set, but it's also building that spiritual resiliency in you and your family. And you don't have to be married or have a partner to build that resiliency within your family. You've got a family back at home. You've got a friend group that you draw strength from. And how do I prepare them and myself for when I deploy or for when I'm heading downrange into combat? So it's just building that mental process and making sure I've got all my kind of personal admin squared away before I head down range, whether it be an exercise or whether it be into harm's way, that I have that prepared. Because as anybody who's been on deployment knows, or especially out here, if you have something going on in your life that's distracting you from fighting, then you are basically combat ineffective at that point. And so we got to build that resiliency in folks.
Yes, sir. And then you mentioned during the change of command ceremony that this is somewhat of a homecoming for you. What are you most looking forward to doing now that you're back in Iwakuni?
For my family and I, it's traveling. We love to travel. It doesn't matter where we are. In fact, here in a couple of days, we're going to head down to the Rugby World Cup. So it's taking advantage of all those things. We tell people who come here, in the new join brief, I tell people, get outside the wire. Go outside into Japan. Experience it. You will love it. It is one of the best countries you're ever going to be, and to have the opportunity to actually live here and explore here is just second to none. And so we don't waste 1 second when we show up somewhere new. We hit the ground running. We're always off trying to travel and experience the culture as much as we can.
Yes, sir. Is there anywhere that you specifically want to go while you're here?
For me, I would like to, when we were here before, the kids were super little, so I'd kind of like to revisit some of those things. So I'd love to go back to Kyoto. We only went to Tokyo. I'd like to go back up to Tokyo and really kind of experience that. And then I want to get up to Sapporo, do the ice festival, because we didn't get a chance to do that as well. And then there's a lot of other countries around the Pacific that we didn't get to visit that we really want to take advantage of this time.
Where do you plan on leaving the air station when you relinquish command to the next commanding officer?
So for the last couple of commanding officers, so Colonel First, when he was here in his 3-year tenure, it was all about finishing building the base and transitioning the base from kind of sleepy town Iwakuni and finishing the massive construction that had to happen. And that's done. So we're done transforming. My job, as I see it, is to explore what is the combat generation capability that we have at this station and then put us on the right footing so that I've increased our lethality here and our base security and resilience as well.
Yes, sir. And then I think it would be a little naive of us to ask you what, you expect of us. So what do you want to tell your sailors and your Marines about you and about what you expect from them and about what we can expect from you?
Let's see. Let me start with the first one, so that's probably a little bit easier. So what do I expect out of the Marines and sailors and civilians and Japanese partners that we have working aboard the air station? The first thing is how impressed I am with everyone and the jobs that they're doing around this base. I spent the last 30 days just kind of running around base, meeting folks, seeing what it is that this institution really does, and really kind of getting below the surface and trying to dig into some of the issues and challenges that we have. And the people that we have are second to none. And I could not be prouder to be the commanding officer of this air station. As far as what I expect of them is to take care of themselves and take care of each other. It's really just as simple as that. And about me that I would want them to know, if you want to get involved in a long conversation with me, ask me anything about military history, and then I will pull up a chair and we will talk long and hard about it. But if you don't have a lot of time, just say hi to me and keep on walking by.
Yes, sir. And then I have one question, and this one's kind of for me because
Sure.
I just picked up corporal and stuff, and I know the first few months of being a corporal for me, it was definitely struggling and becoming a leader and knowing how to lead. So you have a lot of leaders underneath you and a lot of people who, NCOs, staff NCOs who have to lead Marines as well, sir, and then you have to lead the leaders. So I was just wondering, what would you say to someone who's coming into a leadership position or has been in a leadership position for a long time? What would you say to them to kind of help them become a better leader?
Sure. I would say, first off, leadership has nothing to do with rank or position. It has to do with, I've seen some of the best Marine leaders I've seen are those who do the right thing even when no one's asking them to do it. And I know that sounds very cliche, but it is absolutely true. I've seen PFCs and Lance Corporals doing a better job of leading their shop than maybe their OIC or their staff NCOIC because of they just step up to the challenge, or they see something that needs to be fixed or someone who needs help and they offer that helping hand, or they go ahead and address that problem. So that would be the first thing. The second thing is know who you are and know what your style is. We all see there's a whole bunch of leaders around this air station, civilian, military, and we can learn a lot from those folks, but you and I aren't those people. We are who you and I are, and so you have to adapt what you like to your own personality, what your own kind of style and flavor happens to be.
Yes, sir. And then this is the hardest question, and we didn't let you prepare for this because we wanted to know your honest answer.
Okay.
What is your favorite radio station?
Oh, that's easy. It's Power 1575.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for taking the time to come in and talk with us. It's not every day that the entire air station gets to hear from their commanding officer, so thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.